It looks like we're live. Greetings, everyone. I want to welcome you and thank you for stopping in. If you're just scrolling by and you saw the live pop up and you clicked on our video, we want to say thank you. I'm so glad that you're here to join us as a part of our Facebook Live Q&A series. This is our Family Strong series. And actually, it's our second to last episode in this series. What a privilege it's been to interview these businesses, these family-owned businesses, many of which have gone multiple generations. And today is no different. You're going to get to hear from Robert and Scott Broom here just shortly with Broom Associates. They are the third generation owners of managing partners of the business, but their kids are also involved in the business now. So they would be a fourth generation business. I just think that is really incredible and look forward to hearing the whole agency story. If we haven't had the privilege of meeting, I want to say hello, I'm Lindsay Kiesler. I have the honor of being the president and CEO of the Chamber of Catawba County. The past several months I've been completely and utterly inspired, to be honest, just by the resiliency of our community, of people just, like I said, just being mindful of the good that's happening around us. There's a lot of heaviness that's also occurred, but so far I've seen a lot of good. And I know that our community will continue to rally together and pull through this public health crisis, but also this economic crisis. So it is a privilege to serve as your chamber, to come alongside of business, to stand in the gap for businesses, and to help solve those most critical issues and fill needs for our shareholders and investors. So thank you for stopping in. Thank you for being interested in hearing from a great family business in our community. And thank you in advance for your support of all of our local businesses. Right now, more than ever, they need your support. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to serve in this way, but I hope too that you will be inspired to also do your part in supporting our local businesses during this time. I want to say thank you to our sponsor. So Mike Kelly with Hickory Real Estate Group has been so loyal to support this series, but also just to make it possible for us to do this every month. So Mike is actually on here with us again today, and I'd love to turn it over to him so that you guys, if you have never had an opportunity to meet him, you can meet him. And I know he'd like to say hello. So Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay, for having me on today. Really appreciate it. And really appreciated the opportunity to help sponsor this series. I think it's been great. I think I've learned a lot about all the different businesses in our area. And, we like to share it on our page when you have these events. And it's just been a really, really great thing for the community. And we definitely appreciate everything that you do. For those who don't know who I am, I'm Mike Kelly with Hickory Real Estate Group, and we have a real estate firm in our area. We help people buy and sell houses. And if you want more information about us, you can go to our website at hickoryrealestategroup.com or find us on our Facebook page. We are very active there on social media, that's for sure. So if you need anything, let me know. But again, I just really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for letting me on.
Thank you, Mike. And again, if you're just hopping on, that was our sponsor. So Mike Kelly with Hickory Real Estate Group is our sponsor for this series, and we're just grateful for your support. Thanks, Mike. All right, so Mike mentioned sharing. So he likes to share these videos on their business Facebook page. Now it's your opportunity to share. So I really want to encourage you to engage with us. The more shares, the more reactions, the likes, the hearts, the wow faces that we receive, the algorithms are ever in our favor. So would you mind, if you're watching live, give us a couple comments. So if you're watching live, go ahead and put #live. Give us a couple comments just so that we know comments are working and we know that you are watching and you're on the other end of this conversation. Also, if you hear something that you really like, that resonates you during this interview, go ahead and give us some likes and hearts. If you can hear us loud and clear, give me a couple wows. Go ahead and do that for me. Thank you in advance. And like I mentioned, and like Mike mentioned, share the video. It's always helpful to share, because then we have an opportunity to reach more people with the words that Robert and Scott have for us today. So share the video. Another fun way is to start a watch party. So if you start a watch party, all of your friends know that you're watching. They have the chance to watch along with you. And then you get to see which of your friends have stopped in and are watching the video. So thank you in advance for your engagement. You can also ask a question. So if you ask a question in the comments, I will do my best to weave those questions in live with Robert and Scott. If you are watching the replay, which thank you that you stopped in. If you don't see that little red box anymore, we're no longer live and you're watching this replay, you can put a comment in there, and I'm sure somebody from the Broom team will see it. And if they don't, we will make sure that they see it and give you a reply. So thank you in advance for sharing and for engaging with us. All right, enough of that. Without further ado, please meet my guests today. So I have the privilege today of interviewing Robert Broom and Scott Broom. They're a brother duo and managing partners of Broom Associates. Thank you guys for being on here with me today.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Thanks, Scott. There's Scott, the second one, and then Robert was the first one. All right, now you're going to get, if you never had a chance to meet them, I'd love to help you understand a little bit more about who they are. Robert is the managing partner of Broom Associates and serves as business insurance consultant. He began his insurance career in 1989. He earned a BS in business from North Carolina State University and has extensive insurance and risk management experience. He holds the designation of Certified Workers' Comp Advisor. Robert is a member of the Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina and my Rotary Club, or our Rotary Club, the Lake Hickory Rotary Club, and he's currently on the board of Rotary. Robert too is both Robert and Scott, but the agency in general values community. And if you don't believe me, here is their rap sheet of things that they're involved with. Robert is a past chair of the Chamber Board, and he served on the executive committee for several years as well. In addition, he's also a current council member for the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club, and he also serves as an elder in his church, New Life Church in Taylorsville. Also, they have a lot of fun too when they're outside of work. He enjoys hiking and mountain biking and kayaking, and most importantly, spending time with his family and his friends. Let's see, Scott is also a managing partner with Broom Associates and serves as a personal insurance consultant. His educational background, which I just noticed today that you guys were a house divided. So he went to University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So we have a Wolfpacker, and we're NC State and Carolina. So I don't know about that. You guys on game days probably have some disagreements there. He also has his master's in counseling from Colorado Christian University. He attended the insurance executive program in 1998 through App State. And he's a member of the Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina. He has extensive insurance, automation, and operations management experience. Scott also is extremely involved in the community. He is a member of the Western Catawba County Kiwanis Club, and he has also been their past president. He also oversees the Terrific Kids and Bring Up Grades programs, which is the BUG program. And he serves as the Catawba County Special Olympics coach and also is the co-coordinator for Catawba County. In his free time, he enjoys spending time with his wife and 4 children, working in the yard, going on family walks, and spending time on and around the lake. So there's more about my guest. Like I mentioned, both of them that I've had the privilege to working alongside for many years, most really closely, probably Robert as a member of our board. Actually, when I started at the chamber, he was on our board and was the chair of this organization. So grateful to have you guys on with me today.
Thanks again.
Looking forward to it.
All right, so this is the part where we get into some rapid fire Q&A. So if you didn't get enough from their bios, I'm looking forward to hearing their answers to our Q&A. I think we're going to do a little bit of have fun, kind of go back and forth between Robert and Scott. All right, you guys ready for this?
Shoot.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Robert, what is the most important quality of leadership?
I know it's probably said many times, but leading by example, doing what you say.
Scott, what's one cause that you're most passionate about?
Special Olympics is the cause for me right now.
Robert, what's something that most would be surprised to know about you?
I love to dance. Not ballroom dancing, but just cutting loose. I love it.
Just cutting a rug. I love it.
Yep.
All right, Scott, who is a leader that you admire the most?
Okay, though I'm a Tar Heel, I'll have to go with Tony Bennett, the Virginia basketball coach. He inspires me.
Robert, what's one word you would use to describe the culture at Broom Associates?
I just going with the first thing that comes to my mind, but the word blessing, if I have to use one, blessing.
And I look for it. We're going to hopefully dive into a little bit more about culture at Broom a little bit later in the interview, but that's great. Scott, podcasts or books?
Books.
All right. What was the last book you read?
The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni.
Okay. And Robert, what about you? Podcasts or books?
Podcast. Books don't get finished as much as they should for me, but podcasts usually get finished.
I find that's the same for me. I end up with a stack and then I get, a couple chapters in and here and there. So what's your favorite podcast that you listen to?
It's called Conversations with Dutch. Dutch Sheets is his name, but he just inspires me. And yeah, that's the one I would go back to the most.
That's great. What was that one again? What was this?
His name is Dutch Sheets.
Dutch
and
Sheets.
It's called Conversations with Dutch.
Okay. Thank you. I'll have to look that one up. All right, Scott, do you have a personal mantra?
This is going back to my NC State roots, growing up with my dad who went to NC State, and it's never give up.
I like it. Robert, what about you?
Live fully in the moment.
Being present.
Yep.
Something that all high functioning individuals have to work on and be intentional about. That's very wise. All right, Scott, if you could have a 15-minute conversation with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, I would really like the Apostle Peter. I'd like to have 15 minutes with him.
And then Robert, if you gave a TED Talk, what would the subject be?
Good vibrations, playing your note.
Scott, when you aren't at work, where could we find you?
With family on the lake would be ideal.
And Robert, if you could pick up a new skill in an instant, what would it be?
Communicating well with few words.
Love it. Scott, what strength does Robert bring to the business?
His people skills and his vision for our culture.
Robert, what about Scott? What does he bring to the business?
Honestly, I could talk for a really long time. Scott's amazingly talented communicator, and his I guess the biggest is all things operations for our agency.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. And thank you again to those of you that are watching. I encourage you to engage with us. If you missed the intro, this is Robert Broom and Scott Broom, both managing partners and also third generation of 4 generations that are at Broom Associates. And this is the Family Strong series. So what we've been doing is featuring family-owned businesses. These are businesses that have stood the test of time, that have adopted innovation, that have certainly believed in generational leadership, that have continued to evolve and change over time to meet their customers' needs, but also meet the trends of the industry. So hopefully we're going to get into a couple of those things today, just for you to understand what makes Broom Associates special. But first, I want to kind of go back to the beginning, guys, if you will. Give us some background on the agency. I know this was your grandfather's vision, Scott. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, getting to talk about my grandfather is a privilege. It brings back warm memories. And Robert and I grew up pretty much across the creek was his yard and our yard where we grew up. So we were around our grandfather a lot. But even before either one of us were born, he did, just a Hickory note, he did go to Lenoir-Rhyne University, my granddad did. He loved Lenoir-Rhyne, took us to many football games there at the university. And but he grew up in the Mount Holly area, Lincolnton area, and then moved to Hickory. And my granddad, his first name was Freeland. In 1952, he was a line worker for the telephone company between Granite Falls and Hickory, and he installed the phone lines residentially and business wise. So he also was an avid part of First Baptist Church. And he had met Albert Field at Field Insurance Agency. He actually was working on the line, installing the dial service for Field Insurance Agency. And Mr. Field approached him and said, how about changing careers to insurance? So while he was on the job doing one job, he said, why not? I'd rather be in an office than be on poles all day, and let's go for it. So that started in 1952. Cool. And went from there. So in transitioning from that date, it was in 1969, after he had worked there for quite a while, that Field Agency ran into some issues. They had a savings and loan kind of a situation, business going on, and then insurance as well. And there was a legislature change that caused hard times on the savings and loan. And Mr. Field gave permission for people who had worked there for a while to take their books of business and to go off on their own on the insurance side. And that's what my granddad did. He ventured with Frank Baker for 2 years. And then from there, he launched his own agency and called it Freeland Broom Insurance Agency in 1969. Okay. So Robert, you can tell some more of the story.
So my father grew up in Hickory, and my father was working for Eastman Kodak Corporation, a big corporate textile engineer, graduate from NC State, doing something totally different than insurance. But he got quickly disenfranchised with the corporate ladder, the corporate world, and being transferred. We transferred as a family to different homes like 3 times in 2 years. And he just said, I'm not going to raise my family this way. So we moved back to Hickory, and he went into business with my grandfather. And that was in the early 70s. And times were tough. We grew up in insurance, so we would have Thanksgiving dinner, and we would hear the stories of, thank you, God, that we renewed this one account that's kind of basically saving our year. And my dad quickly acclimated and kind of saw the vision that we needed to grow. We needed to be bigger than what we were as an agency at that time, which was really just my grandfather, one account manager, my dad, and a bookkeeper. So my dad got the courage to walk down the street and introduce himself to Associated Insurance, which happens to be the very location of our office now. Okay. Back then, we were about 2 football fields, about 200 yards away. He just said to Clarence Roberts and Rick at the time, hey guys, if you're ever interested in selling, or if you need to perpetuate your agency, please give me a call. And they said, we definitely would do that. We've always had a lot of respect for your grandfather. And so my dad, I don't know the exact time, but I don't think it was a whole lot longer, got a call from Clarence, and he just said, Bob, I'm ready to talk. So Dad walked down the street, walked in, and Clarence pretty much was a planner and a doer, and he had it all laid out. And Dad said, that sounds good. He kids about his great negotiating skills. How much do you want to pay? We'd like this much for it. That sounds good. It's what Dad said. So anyway, it didn't take long before they put a deal together, and that really took our agency to the next step. I don't want to take too much time, but there was in 1986, Bob Zorn, Roy Troutman, Hickory Insurance followed right after Associated Insurance. Then we had Gary Lale in 1991 with Bethlehem Insurance. Les Murphy in 1996 with Atlas Insurance Agency. David Neal with Morrow Insurance at the time. It was 2004 that we merged them in. Chuck Asp with Fidelity Insurance was in 2004. And in 2018, we had Shane Motley with Foothills. insurance. And then our latest merger, which was January the 1st, and the largest by far was Fall Insurance Agency, and that's here in 2020. So we came by it honest, merging cultures and agencies together, and here we are today, continuing along that same path. We're just blessed. We're really blessed that we have business to come into, and we're blessed to live in Hickory. We love Hickory. We love everything about it and want to be a part of making this the best place to live and to do business.
Well, it's completely evident. Thank you for sharing. I mean, what just evolution over the years. And now, just curious, when did you, Robert, when did you and Scott join the business? And was it ever on your radar? Was this a plan? Like, did you want to, or did your dad try to, twist your arm? I guess he wasn't too good of or that was your granddad. But anyway, how did you guys join the agency?
To tell this one real quick for me, I graduated from state, went to work in corrugated box sales. They gave me a Crown Victoria station wagon and a road map. Lou Wetmore, Trad Packaging in Conover. Worked there for almost 2 years, and then Dad, through these mergers, said, "Hey, I can't handle all this. I'm going to need someone to come in." So we all have one thing in common. We took a pay cut when we came into work in the insurance, as well as a career change, a complete career change. So family business is great. It's also can be challenging, and working dynamics within the family out have made us better, but took effort for sure. But that's my story. It was in 1989 that I joined the agency, and so been doing it ever since.
What about you, Scott?
I joined in 1995. I had, after graduating Chapel Hill, I had a few jobs in town, and then my wife and I moved out to Colorado for her to go to graduate school, which I ended up getting a master's out there as well. And we were out there for 4 years. And then actually, it was a compliment. Robert and my dad sort of recruited me, asked me to come and help on the operations and the computerization side of things, and came in 1995.
That's awesome. And now you guys, you have the next generation that's a part of the agency too. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about that before we move on?
Well, I guess I should say my son Trey joined the agency. He had worked for a insurance company in Greensboro, Penn National, for a few years and joined the agency. I'm going to say 5-6 years ago. And so then we have another, it's kind of a new development here, but my youngest son, Casey, is planning to take a position in a joint venture that we have going on in Davidson, North Carolina. So that would be the second child. We don't know what the future holds. A lot of times, what our rule is, we don't want the nepotism thing to kick in. We really want kids to get out, experience what it's like to have another boss, another culture, and then come back in and be a part of the family business. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, what an honor for your kid. Not that you that it's a guaranteed thing, but that they truly want to come and continue to carry on the family's legacy. Now, talk a little bit. Give an overview of what you guys, what products you do offer to your clients. Maybe what makes you different, and then I'd like to go in a little bit of how you balance then insurance pricing. So talk a little bit about that.
I'll give that a go to start with. Yeah, we have a diverse, all three lines of insurance. So we have home and auto insurance, personal lines insurance, individual health insurance for any personal needs you might have. Then we have business insurance. So you can look at business from the property and casualty side, and also from the group health and benefits side. And we do a division in all three of those areas. So yeah, it's a good diverse offering, and we want to be able to pretty much offer anything for the businesses of our community and the individuals.
That's great. How do you keep the insurance price in check for your clients?
That's something that I'm proud of us for doing, because it's easy to build a book of business and sort of sit back and take it not as personal, like you would treat your own, and we try to be proactive. And what we do is we have our staff through our reporting systems. We look, if there's a price increase, we proactively contact our clients and let them know. Because we're an independent insurance agency, we represent a lot of different companies. and we handpick those companies. And each company thinks they have it figured out of what the right price is and why they're the best. But we realize that you know, there's stages of life, and as things change, your pricing changes. And an example we've done recently, there was one insurance company that we felt the pricing got a little out of hand, and we contacted another one of our carriers and negotiated to where we did what you call it is a book rollover, and we contacted all of our clients. We were able to guarantee them the same or better rates than what the previous carrier was offering at renewal. And we were actually able to save a majority of our clients hundreds of dollars, and they didn't have to go out and shop and look for that opportunity. We approached them, gave them the opportunity to do that on their own. So that's something that Robert and I try to do, is just take the fundamental basic principles we were taught as children about respecting people, treating people with honesty, integrity, doing a good job and being proud of it. And just think like that and think, well, how would I want to be treated? Let's treat our clients like that.
I have firsthand experience of the consultative kind of nature of the agency. I know just the whole team seemingly does that. I mean, they think of ways like, hey, Lindsay, just knowing like your renewal's coming up, and it's, you know, we might want to look at it together, and sitting down and having a conversation. The other piece that I want to just commend you on is all of the work around the COVID-19 pandemic. You guys sort of transitioned into the subject matter expert role, and helping, you know, consult businesses on what to do, whether it was, you know, FMLA, whether it was PPP. You guys really stood in that gap. And I know you maintained a website, and I believe we've even linked to several of those as resources on our COVID-19 business resource page. Did either of you want to comment on that?
I'll just say this, Lindsay. I think this is a good place to say thank you to Andrew Kaiser. He is a brother-in-law, so family too, and Lori Alala, a partner here too. But they did that was exactly what they did. They pivoted to become experts in the information, and it was changing, and it still is changing. But as you know, hard to keep up with. We've tried to align ourselves also with backroom support for that. So even Concepts on their side, Keystone Insurance Group on our side, having partners that support you with information. That we're bigger than we look. We're a local independent agency. We're 21 employees, but having the resources to bring of a national company, that I think is the best of both worlds. But thank you for the compliment there. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. All right. So I know technology has been, I'm sure, has been something that has changed, also probably been an asset to you, but also probably has created some sorts of getting used to. I know all of us have completely pivoted to this virtual space, particularly the working remotely and everything. Talk a little bit about how technology has changed over the years and impacted the industry.
And that's Scott's subject, but let me say this really quick. From a historical perspective, we were one of the first agencies to get a Radio Shack computer and a comparative rater and have these wide printouts to print out to show our clients. So my dad was actually the one that was a big computer geek back when computers really weren't very cool. He was the first to go on a Macintosh computer too. Nice. With Apple. So Scott is our tech guy, so I'll be quiet. I just wanted to put that little plug in for Dad.
Love it. All right.
I used to think I was the tech guy, and then life happened, and now I'm the old guy. You know, I thought I was the young tech guy for many years, but I've been surpassed by my own kids for sure, and others. But yeah, artificial intelligence is out there. We go to these seminars. We're part of Keystone Insurance Group, which over 250 partners of other agents just like us, and we share intellectual capital. It helps us stay in the cutting edge of things. And the seminars on artificial intelligence, that you would think, that's like something I saw in a sci-fi show, years ago, but it's like, it's really upon us now. So we have adapted just this year. We've switched to a whole new agency management system from the one we've been on for 20 years before. It's a Salesforce-driven platform. So Salesforce is out there. It's pretty well known. I think even Netflix is on Salesforce. But A lot of different companies are. But the thing about Salesforce that we love is we see technology is a tool for us. We don't want to hide behind technology. We want to use it as a strong tool for us to be able to be the relational people that we feel we need to be, to spend face time with our clients and get to know their needs, and then have the tools to be able to do the heavy lifting in the background so that we have the time to do that. That's what we're really about. Salesforce, just like your iPhone or whatever phone you use, you have all these apps, and you can just add all of these really neat things. And that's what Salesforce is allowing us to do. Is we get our data in there. We're very vigilant to document. So when someone calls, we log the call. We're able to do voicemails. It's a file now. We can attach the actual voicemail file into the system so that we track everything and we know when we did what we did, and we have our to-do list so that we make sure we get everything done, because y'all know life comes at you pretty fast nowadays on technology. So those are some of the things we do that and we're really excited about being able to do the plugins for these apps and add to be able to keep up with all of this going forward. The comparative rating is still important for us because we represent so many companies. To be able to put the rate in, all the information in once and get a comparison of all these different companies so that we can shop on our clients' behalf is a very key thing that we utilize technology for, and documentation, like I said. So those are just a few of the things. It's amazing where we're headed with technology.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that. All right, Robert, culture, I know, is something that is near and dear. Well, you and Scott, I know, but you in particular, I've heard you speak on the culture you hope to foster and create at your agency. And so why don't you talk a little bit about what is the culture like and how do you craft that? And then your vision for the culture for Broome.
Okay, thank you. I think number one, you just have to be intentional about culture. As I explained, all the agencies that we have grown from, it's a melting pot. You get a lot of cultures all into one, and so what's important is to be intentional, to have a vision, and then to implement it. Number one, we care the most about our employees, and really they're our best asset, our biggest asset that we have. And we believe that our employees are our family. The reason I use the word blessing is because, to me, the vision that I have is for our employees to not just have a job here that they come to every day to do, but that it would be actual blessing, a place that they enjoy working. As you all know, we work with our fellow employees as much or more than we're with our family, back before COVID anyway. And so it's important that we're instilling and encouraging and holding each other's back. And so there's several things. I could talk all day about culture. We have a covenant here that we created in order to be relationally accountable to each other, that we invite our employees when they're hired to enter into with each other. And it's on our website. You're welcome to check it out there. It's broome-associates.com. But that's one thing that we do. I think that we have a Good Vibes Committee. The Good Vibes Committee was started because of the idea that everyone gives off a vibration. Rocks give off a vibration. Positive vibrations attract, negative vibrations attract. So what we want to cultivate here is positive vibrations. And so the Good Vibes Committee was started with that in mind, and we gave the people, the employees, a lot of rope to try to create. So our goal is to be out in the community serving in different capacities together as a team, to get to know each other in that regard. And then we also have a wellness program. So we've been a big proponent of wellness and keeping each other accountable to be healthy for a long time as well. We have a portal. We have contests. We had one of our contests was an Apple Watch. Everyone won a watch that accomplished their goals. So That's one other thing we do. We've invested a lot in Strong Lead, Bruce Schrantz's company, in helping us implement leadership skills. And one of the books that we got a lot, Scott mentioned it, I got a lot out of, is The Ideal Team Player. And there's really 3 character qualities about every employee we're looking for: humble, hungry, and relationally smart. Those are the 3. And we found that if someone exhibits those qualities, and some of those can be taught and cultivated, some of them you have it or you don't, that will fit our culture the best. And so if we find somebody that has that, then they tend to thrive here, and it tends to work really well. Our goal is not to try to create this culture that insulates us. We want to go out into the community with our culture. We want to hear what other people are doing. We want to connect with other people, and we're totally open to doing that. And we've had a few community outreaches to try to, exchange ideas, and we would love to do more of that. And I just want to put that plug, if anyone's listening, I know everyone has a culture. That's a big word now. But if you're working toward it and you want to do it together, we love creating. We love ideas. That's what excites me about what we do more than anything.
Robert, one thing,
yeah.
if I can just jump in here,
No, that's good.
The Good Vibes Committee. So you talking about how you want that to resonate in the community, you want to share ideas. That was one day that really inspired me, is when you guys invited businesses from the community in and talked about your good vibes and encouraged them to start their own Good Vibes Committee and to share ideas, and even have even teams like interact with one another. I thought that was really, really neat. And the other part is just to say, one thinks that employee engagement is all about reward and recognition, right? It's rewarding your internal people. But when you say you want to bring your culture out to the community, our team took part with your team, and we went and sang carols at the local assisted living facility. And talk about a blessing! What a blessing that was when we were able to do that. So this just hopefully gives you, those viewers that are watching, a little bit more context as to what Robert's talking about.
Thank you.
So as we close, I want to talk about your most recent merger. I'd love to hear more about that. You guys have gone through mergers all throughout over the decades. What makes this one unique? Tell us a little bit about that. And then I'd love to hear too, kind of your vision casting. What do you hope for the agency in the future?
Yeah. Well, I think I would start with, I think most business people would agree there's an optimum size for every business. You're always trying to find not too big, not too small. Where are our efficiencies? Where can we really have our sweet spot? And so we had a board when my dad retired. He was our chairman of our board, and quite a few other savvy businessmen. And when we looked at it, we thought if we could grow to the next level, there's a lot of efficiencies there. We had an extremely strong internal management team, and we had the capacity to take on a lot more. So we fortunately were a member of Keystone Insurance Group. In 2004 is when we joined, and that's when Fall Insurance in North Wilkesboro joined as well. So over the years, as we interact, as we share ideas, we got to know Brian Pierce and Claude Fall, and we waited and waited, and the time kind of came right to think about that, a merger. And so I think part of it comes from, we're always looking to try to be better, not only for our employees, more possibilities, more creativity, but also for our clients. How can we do that? And their reputation is really strong, and they're students of insurance at a very, very high level. And Scott and I played a lot of sports growing up. So for me, I'm always thinking, how can I have the best team? I want the best teammates that I can have. And getting to know Brian, and people call him from all over to ask questions, but he's just sort of, he epitomizes one of the things I wish I could do. He takes complicated topics, makes them extremely simple, and can express that with few words. So he's my hero. So I got Brian on my team now, and we appreciate the partnership. But we did that. We're still Broom Insurance here in Hickory. They're Fall Insurance there. They were started in the 1920s. We both have a strong heritage, but together we feel like there's unlimited potential. And like I said before, what excites me the most is sitting down with a blank piece of paper, brainstorming, trying to figure out how can we do things a little different, a little better. What can we do to be different? So that's what I would say. And Scott, you might add some more or tack on to the end of that question as well.
I was going to say, Scott, that blank piece of paper, that illustration that Robert used, what would be on that paper for you looking into the future?
For me, looking into the future, I think we're actually have similar thought process on the ideal team and the sports background that we have. Just building a team. I think Tony Bennett, the reason I admire him so much is to watch him take, even sometimes relatively to like Duke or somebody, limited talent and make the most of it and be the best you can possibly be. And so that's the vision that we have. And to be able to do that, to take all these mergers and to be able to create one common culture and one thing that people want to be a part of, because it's true, because it's not a bunch of facade, because it's built on truth. That's what Robert and I dedicate our careers to. We value and appreciate the insurance industry, but we're in a people business, and it's about people. It's about working with people, and it's about giving it your all and admitting your mistakes, owning up to it, and always desiring to be better. And that's what our vision is together. Robert and I have different talents. Robert's more on the sales side, and he's our president. He's our CEO out in the community more so than I am. But we complement each other, and that's what our goal is for our entire team, is to be able to cast a vision for every role and for every person to make an impact and to feel good about the job that they do in their day and the people that they help in their day, because there's leadership that helps mold that for them.
That's so great. Thank you guys for sharing that with me. I could sit here and talk all day, leadership and vision and culture, and pouring into your people. And what were the 3 words again, Robert? It was hungry,
humble, and relationally smart.
And relationally smart. And that book was, what book was it?
The Ideal Team Player.
I need to read that book. That's just really, really good. I thank you, viewers, those that are still watching. I thank you for being on here today and for spending some time with us. I'm taking nuggets away. I hope that you have the opportunity to take some nuggets away as well. If you didn't catch the entire interview, the replay will be available shortly. So I thank you for being a part of this. Robert and Scott, thank you guys for being such great guests and for coming on here and just really speaking your truth. And I appreciate your support and your partnership and how you pour into the community as well.
We appreciate the Chamber. We appreciate you, Lindsay, and it was our honor. It's our privilege. Thanks for asking us.
Thanks, Lindsay. We appreciate getting to tell the story and reminisce a little bit. And we love Hickory. We love what you do for the Chamber, and we're in full support.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. You guys, if you would like to watch the final series or the final episode in our series, our Family Strong series, it's going to be this Friday, November the 20th. Lanny Huffman, with the president of Hickory Sheet Metal Incorporated, is going to be on here. Also, Scott and Robert, before you go, a viewer said the best company to work for. You guys are the best company to work for. So what an incredible affirming compliment that I'd be remiss if I didn't throw that in there. But November the 20th at noon, come and listen to Lanny Huffman, the president of Hickory Sheet Metal. His story is quite incredible. They are nearing, if not over, a century old. So one of our legacy companies in this community. So don't miss that. But again, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Hickory Real Estate Group, for making this possible each month. And I want to thank you to our viewers, those of you that commented and liked and reacted and shared. Thank you very much. But until Friday, we will sign off.